We'll begin with the prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnanajanam Shalakya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashati Deshtarne. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sidvaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktaranda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. So I'll mute others just for the sake of recording. And if you have any questions, you can anytime unmute and ask, or also post on the Zoom chat. So we'll get started. So I know we don't have enough audience here, very few. But yeah, that's not our regular crowd. We'll see if others join at their convenience. So we are in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In this chapter, Krishna spoke about Karma Yoga. Karma means work, action. We do work every day. Yoga means a path, a process to connect to the Supreme Lord. So you can see two personalities here. I'm giving additional context, just a background context for the new participants. When they get the background context, the flow will be easier from third chapter. Since we already completed 2 chapters, I'm going to give a quick glance about Bhagavad Gita, how it started, and we'll get into this chapter 3. So you can see here 2 personalities. One is a person who is sitting here down, one person who is standing here and is speaking to the other person. So the person who is sitting here, his name is Arjun, and the person who is standing here, he's a god himself. His name is Krishna, Lord Krishna. So he spoke Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, on the battlefield. When was that? 5,000 years ago, very long back, 5,000 years ago. So why Krishna has to speak Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield? Why not in a temple room, in a peaceful place? Because the situation demanded. The situation was Arjuna was confused about his duty, what to do and what not to do. We are also in the same boat. Sometimes you are confused. What is my path? What is my duty? Should I do this or should I do this? Right? So Krishna spoke in the battlefield of Kurukshetra this transcendental message of Bhagavad Gita to clear this confusion of Arjuna. And he also spoke various subject matters that inspired Arjuna to do his duty. So in case of Arjuna, his duty is to fight. He is a soldier on the battlefield. His duty is to fight. But he thought by such fighting, he'll get a sin. And Krishna said, no, Arjuna. Fighting is your prescribed duty. By such fighting, you will not get sin. If you don't fight, you'll get sin. It doesn't mean Krishna is encouraging Arjuna or everyone to fight. But fighting is like a prescribed duty in case of Arjuna, because he's a soldier, he's a warrior. That's his duty. As a king, he has to protect his citizens. So it becomes his duty to fight. So Arjuna in the first chapter gave various reasons why he doesn't want to fight. And Krishna in the second chapter gives various reasons why Arjuna has to fight. So one of the reasons was from Arjuna in the first chapter was, I'll get sin. I'll get sinful reaction. Karma bandhana. And he also says, what happens to this family, entire family? Likewise, he gives various reasons. So Krishna addresses in the second chapter, he addresses all the concerns of Arjuna. So we went through that in detail in our previous session. And towards the end of second chapter, Arjuna asked, this is what Arjuna understood. What Krishna spoke is, understand the other parties in front of you, they're not the bodies, they are the souls. They are Atma. They are residing in the human body. The human body is like an exterior covering, like a dress. Right? Every day we wear one dress. Right? So soul has an exterior covering. What you see, the exterior covering is on top of this soul. So when you punish them, when you do your job, what dies is their body, exterior covering only. The soul is eternal. It was in the past, it will be in the present, it will be in future also. Soul never dies. Krishna establishes this fact that soul never dies. What dies is the body only. And later, Krishna also spoke about Arjuna to do his duty. Your duty is to fight. You fight. When you fight, you can enjoy this kingdom. Right? If you don't fight, you'll get a sin and you have to suffer. And by such fighting, not just fighting, but fighting with proper consciousness, like a karma yogi, one can come to the stage of a liberated soul. Mind is purified, consciousness is purified. One can come to the stage of a liberated soul. A sthita prajna. A prajna means intelligence. Prajna means intelligence. Sthita means fixed intelligence. So once mind is purified, one can fix his mind and consciousness on the soul, and he can attain liberation. That is the path prescribed by or spoken by Krishna. What Arjuna understood is, Arjuna thought, this is a question he asked in the third chapter. So he asks, if my goal is to attain liberation, why should I fight? Why should I do my duty if my goal is to attain liberation? Why can't I go and sit in the forest and meditate? I can attain liberation that way. And Krishna says, no. Why not? So we'll look at that in this chapter. In this chapter, Krishna speaks about importance of karma yoga, importance of karma. Arjuna has to do his duty. And what is the importance of why he has to do his duty? Why can't he take the path of renunciation? Okay. We'll get started with this chapter. So this is Arjuna's confusion. Should I fight or should I renounce? Right? So Krishna says, this is an overview of this chapter. Krishna says, the path of Gnana Yoga, trying to analyze the self, Atma, by mental speculation, controlling the mind and senses, is quite difficult. It's quite difficult. Krishna is saying, for you work, not just a work with a detachment. Okay, so have a goal, higher goal to attain liberation when you work with proper consciousness, like a buddhi, right? Not just work with buddhi, intelligence. When you work with proper intelligence, your mind is purified, consciousness is purified, and you can attain liberation. So what is that intelligence about? One has to work with proper consciousness, renouncing the doership mentality, renouncing the possessiveness, right? One has to work for the pleasure of the Lord. It's like I'm doing my duty, everyday duty. I do it for the pleasure of the Lord, as a service to the Lord. That way I stay detached, right? And also I offer my results, like success or failure. I don't worry about it. I still do my duty. So I, by offering, I offered my results, success or failure to the Lord. I'm also working for the pleasure of the Lord as a service to the Lord, and I'm not attached to the work itself. Simple example, right? If I'm donating donating a water to a people, a poor people, or someone who doesn't have water, right? If I donate with a consciousness that I am doing it with with the money I earned, I'm doing it. I'll be prone to this pride. When someone appreciates me, oh, you are a great personality, then I'll be vulnerable to this greed also. I could develop greed, pride, greed, and I could create problem to myself and also to the people around me. Right? Krishna is saying that is the way of karmi who works, but work like a karma yogi. With the spirit of renunciation. You still work. You don't need to renounce work, you still work. Right? Same example. Now I'm donating water to the people because this is a money which is given by the God. I'm donating to other people for the pleasure of the Lord, as a service to the Lord. Offer the results. If they appreciate me, if they criticize me, I don't care. I'm neutral. But I still offer the results to the Lord. Lord, because of you only, I got this appreciation. Because of you only, I got this criticism. I stay neutral that way. And I'm not attached to this donating business. Okay, I'm doing it just for the sake of doing it. If someone else is doing it, I don't have any problem. So this is a way a karma yogi works. Right? So Krishna is saying, you work like a karma yogi. Okay? You purify your mind. If you can't work like a karma yogi, that's fine, no problem. You still work like a karmi. Work with expectation of a result. You're donating money for water, that's fine. You donate it, that is still good. With expectation of a result, you're doing a good job, a good karma. You'll get a good karma, that's fine. That is better than artificial renunciation. Not doing work or renouncing their duties, going to a forest to meditate. Krishna is saying that path is not a good path. You purify your mind. When you're ready, you can choose that option, or else you can choose the option of bhakti yoga to attain perfection. The Gnana yoga is a path, or bhakti yoga is another path. Okay, so like if you're going to hiking to reach the destination, there are different paths. Path A connects to path B. Trail 1 connects to trail 2. Right? Trail 2 connects to trail 3, and one can go to the destination. Or the trial 1 itself will go to destination. There is a trial 4, trial 4, trial 4. That itself connects to the destination. That's an easier route. So Krishna speaks about that. The path of karma yoga and path of bhakti yoga is the easiest path towards liberation. One doesn't need to take up this path of gnana yoga, artificially renounce, and that is a problem to himself and also to everybody. That's what Krishna wants to establish here in this chapter. And Krishna in other set of verses 17 to 35, he says, Arjuna, even if you're qualified for renunciation, you still have to work. You work like a karma yogi just to set an example. And 36 to 43 verses, Arjuna asks this question, okay, I want to take up spirituality. I want to practice karma yoga. I want to practice bhakti yoga, but I'm always forced, pulled by a force to not practice. Why is that so? What is the reason? And Krishna says the reason is lust. It's not like a lust for any sensual enjoyment. It's like an intense desire to enjoy certain things. intense desire to enjoy through eyes, intense desire to enjoy through tongue or bodily organs. So that is the strongest enemy on the path of any yogic path. So Krishna says, you conquer that first. You conquer that first through the path of practicing this karma yoga. Right? So then that is a way you can attain the proper knowledge. You can practice, go further. So we'll go into this verse for today, verses 3 and 2. So in this set of verses, Arjuna asks this question: renunciation or action? Okay, so I'll read this. Or anyone wants to read this, verses 1 and 2? Okay, I'll read it. Arjuna asked Krishna, O Janardana, O Keshava, if you think that intelligence, buddhi, is better than action, karma, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare? I'm bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which is most beneficial for me. Okay. So, why Arjuna asked this question? Why is Arjuna confused? What Krishna spoke? Krishna spoke about, I'm repeating again, so we'll not forget. So what Krishna spoke about, you do your duty with intelligence, buddhi yoga. It's also called karma yoga. Do your duty with buddhi, intelligence. Then his mind is purified. You'll come to the stage of a liberated soul. Again, you can fix your intelligence. Again, Krishna used this another word. You can fix your mind and fix your intelligence on the Atma, and you can attain that state of a liberated soul. So Arjuna heard this buddhi multiple times. He thought buddhi or using the intelligence means renunciation or practicing of Gnana Yoga. Krishna spoke about that, but Krishna did not prescribe Arjuna about that. Krishna wants Arjuna to still do his duty, that is fighting. That's the reason Arjuna is asking, because of his confused. He thought maybe Krishna wants me to renounce. Then Krishna says, no. So that's why Arjuna is asking, why do you engage me in this ghastly warfare? And in second shloka, Arjuna is saying, I'm confused. I'm bewildered by your equivocal instructions. You are telling two separate things. Please tell me decisively what is beneficial for me. Looking at the conditioning of Arjuna, he was on the battlefield and he was totally grief-stricken. His processing power was little less, and he was looking for a path to renounce. He wanted to run away from the battle. He doesn't want to fight. He initially gave the reasons why he doesn't want to fight. And when he heard the message from Krishna, he also thought like maybe Krishna is prescribing me to renounce and take the path of renunciation. So that's because of that confusion, Arjuna is asking this question. Tell me decisively what is beneficial for me. Krishna is saying, I'm not confusing you. You are confused. I'm giving these different instructions for different people. Right? Some people like different people like different things. But we'll see in upcoming verses, Krishna says, for you, this is better. You practice karma yoga. Why Arjuna has to practice karma yoga, we'll see in upcoming verses now. So you can look at this picture. In our case also, we have this option. Should I work or should I go and meditate and focus on my liberation? Right? If we have so many responsibilities to take care of, then that path is not a wrong path. If our mind is not purified, if we still have the desires to enjoy certain thing, a nice house, a nice home, a nice good wife, good children, or Vedic Sanatana Dharma says you can fulfill your desires, you can still do everything and continue towards the path of liberation. You don't have to artificially renounce without purification of mind. That is the thing. So we'll look at this story. What is real renunciation? So this is a story of a king, Bhartihari. His name is Bhartihari. So it's a real story. He was from India, Ujjain state, Ujjain city there. So he was a king. He ruled the kingdom for some time. These kings, they conquer other kings, they fight with other kings, they conquer other people, and they accumulate more money, they get the taxes, right? So that's a daily business. They need to deal with many people. They need to deal with many people and so many responsibilities, right? So he thought, I'm done. I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to take up any of these responsibilities. Let me renounce. He went to the forest to take up the path of renunciation. It was a little hard, lack of proper food, lack of proper resources, but he chose to continue that path. But one day, he was on his way to take bath. Every day when he goes to take bath, he has a bag. He hangs his bag on the top of the tree, on the tree branch. He hangs his bag. In his bag, he has few clothes, not gold or diamonds, because he has chosen the path of renunciation. He has very few clothes. He hung the bag and he went to take bath. So in the previous time, people used to go to lake and take bath. Now we have shower. We just turn on the shower, we get the water, we take bath. So that was not the case in those olden times. Right? They used to go to lake and dip into the lake to take bath. So he took bath and he came out. And he saw, to his surprise, he saw another bag. he hanged his bag, one bag, but he saw another bag. He was really shocked. Where did this other bag came from? At the same time, there is other person who was also a renunciate, who took the path of renunciation, who was also a king before. He also came. He came to the tree and take his bag. So that time Bhartrihari says, why did you hang here? Why did you hang your bag here? This is my tree. This is my tree. This is where I come here. I hang my bag. Why did you hang your bag here? Then the other king said, he also counter questioned the same thing. That's what my question is. Why did you hang? Why did you hang? This is my place. I come here every day. So basically they go at different times, but that time they went at the same time. So their initial conversation went to an argument and they fought with each other. So there was a lady who was walking nearby. She's a fruit seller. She saw these two people fighting and she went and asked, why are you fighting? And these both people said, no, this person hanged, he occupied my place. Other person also said, no, he occupied my place. And that time, this lady says, this tree doesn't belong to either of you. This tree belongs to the Supreme Lord. Neither of you own this tree. Okay? You are looking like a sadhus, a saintly people. You are wearing a saintly dresses, but you don't have any qualities of a saintly person. You don't have any qualities of a saintly person. A saintly person is the one who knows very well whom things belong to. They don't get attached to certain things. And this lady says, look at our king. This king This kingdom belongs to King Bhartrhari, and he was a great renunciate. Even though he had everything, he left everything because he know very well everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. Shame on you guys. So that time this King Bhartrhari realized, I renounced. I mean, this is the same person that lady was also talking about. So that time this person realized, oh my God, what happened to me? I renounced everything. Now I got attached to the tree. And I'm thinking this tree belongs to me. Right? So I haven't renounced my possessiveness. I haven't renounced my ahankara, right? Ego, false ego. And I haven't renounced my possessiveness, like sense of ownership, controllership. I haven't renounced that. So that is a real realization he got. He says, like, I need to focus on that first, and they can later think about renunciation. So that ends the story. This King Janaka, Krishna also gives this example about Janaka in the 3rd chapter. We'll look at more details about Janaka. But this Janaka, he was also a king. You can look in this picture. He was wearing all these ornaments, right? And he had huge kingdom, but he still lived a life of a renunciate. He possessed everything, but he still lived a life of a renunciate. That is his consciousness. He thinks nothing belongs to me. Everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. When I die, everything goes back to him only. Nothing belongs to me. Why should I develop attachment to this? Why should I develop false ego saying like this belongs to me? I am the owner of this. So King Janaka, he lived a life like a renunciate, even though he possessed everything. That's called Yukta Vairagya. There is a nice term in Sanskrit that's called Yukta Vairagya. One doesn't need to renounce, but he can still be called as renunciate when he renounced the sense of ownership. Okay, verse 3.3. Anyone wants to recite? Sanskrit. I'll do the Sanskrit. Text 3.3. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Lokesmin Dvividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Mayangaha Gnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are 2 classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical philosophical speculation, Gnana Yoga, and others by devotional service or the path of Karma Yoga. So Krishna in this verse saying, different people have different faith, different beliefs. That's why I spoke this. I spoke about Karma Yoga and I spoke about Gnana Yoga. Gnana Yoga means a path of it requires renunciation, and one has to analyze that he's not the body, he's the self by mental speculation, right? It's like I'm sitting here, I'm not the body, I'm not the body, I'm self, I'm Atma. I'm different from this material world. I'm different from this body. So that path, so that is called Gnana Yoga. That path is called Gnana Yoga. Krishna spoke about it, but Krishna did not prescribe to Arjuna. Krishna doesn't want Arjuna to take that path because Krishna says the Karma Yoga itself is enough. You can attain self-realization. You don't need to take the other route. It's like trail 1 leads to trail 2. And Krishna is saying trail 1 itself is enough. You don't need to go to trail 2. For simple example, if a patient has a disease, he goes to the doctor. Doctor diagnoses the disease, and looking at the condition, he speaks about maybe this medicine would work for you, medicine A will work for you, or medicine B would work for you, or medicine 3 would work for you. He tried to analyze, and he talks about it, various medicines, but he prescribes only one medicine for you, for your conditioning, your severity of your disease. Medicine B works best, right? Right? That's what Krishna is also doing the same thing here. For you, Karma Yoga is better. You follow Karma Yoga. You don't need to go and renounce and try to analyze yourself by mental speculation. That path is difficult. So what are the two paths Krishna spoke about? Gnana Yoga and Karma Yoga in the second chapter. That's what Krishna is saying in this verse. I spoke about these two things. Oops, sorry. So what Krishna has spoken in chapter 2, he spoke about 4 things, 4 levels. Again, this is within the context of chapter 1 to 3. But in other chapters, he adds additional yoga paths, yogic paths. Okay, but we'll keep it just to the context, just for our sake of understanding. So Krishna talked about vikarma. Vikarma means sinful action, adharma, right? Not a prescribed duty. Even creating problems to others and everybody, that's a vikarma, that's a sinful act. If one performs a sinful act, he has to go through suffering. If one behaves like a tiger, he gets the body of a tiger in next life, right? If he behaves bad with people, and he has to go through suffering, that's a karma, right? Every action has a reaction, right? If one performs sinful action, if I hurt someone, then that same person will hurt me in this life or next life, right? So that is vikarma, like sinful actions, adharma. Krishna is not prescribing that to Arjuna. Right? So other thing is better than that. Instead of doing sinful actions, one has to do sakama karma, like following the dharma, rules and regulations. Just like a government here establish the rules and regulations, traffic rules, one has to follow. If one doesn't follow, that's a sinful action. If one follows, that's a good action. If one doesn't follow, runs over red or runs over the speed limit, then he'll be caught. Exactly same thing. Krishna has given these wonderful instructions, the path of dharma for everyone. If one follows, that's good. If one doesn't follow, he has to go through consequences, problems. So sakama karma or karma kanda, sakama karma means working with expectation of a result. For example, I'm donating money to the poor people, for poor people, or I'm doing to a charitable organization, I'm donating a money, right? But I have an expectation. I want appreciation. I want my photo to be put on their website. I want my picture to be put on their website, or I want appreciation. I want my name to be put on the newspapers. Right? I'm doing it, but with expectation of a result. That's called sakama karma. Doing it with expectation of a result. Again, other step, nishkama karma. Doing it, the same work, without expectation of a result. Right? Again, same thing. I'm donating it for the sake of donating it, but I don't expect anything in return. If they appreciate me, criticize me, no problem. So that's what Krishna spoke about. Another thing is Gnana Yoga, trying to understand the self. That is from in the second chapter, 55 to 71 verses, Krishna spoke about Sthita Prajna. One has to fix his mind and intelligence, trying to control his mind, control his senses. Senses will run away. One has to pull back, just like a tortoise pulls his limbs. One has to control, have a good control of mind and senses, and try to fix his mind on the self. So that path is called Jnana Yoga, trying to analyze the self with mental speculation. Krishna spoke about this, but Krishna has not prescribed to Arjuna. Krishna is prescribing Nishkama Karma Yoga. The Karma Yoga is good enough for you. Okay, next verse 3.4. Premature, in this verse, Krishna talks about premature renunciation discouraged. If one still tries to take the path of renunciation, Krishna is saying, no. Na karmanam anarambhan naishkarmyam purushosnate nacha sanyasanad eva siddhim samadhi gacchati. Translation: not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection. So Krishna put two not conditions here, not this and not that. Not this and not that. So what is the first not? Abstaining the work, you cannot get freedom from reaction. What is freedom from reaction? So Krishna is talking about karma philosophy, right? When we do any action, there is a reaction, right? If I, same example, if I donate water to someone, I'll get good karma. Donating water is a karma. Donating water is a karma. When I donate water to the people, when I quench the thirst of the people, I'll get good credits. I'll get good credits. Okay, that's called good karma. Right? And if I take away water from people, they have only one bottle, 100 people have one bottle to drink. And if I take away that water bottle, it's a sinful act. I have to go through consequences in this lifetime or next lifetime. I will not be provided a water to drink. Right? So that is karma has good reactions or bad reactions. Same action, action is same, but it could produce good reaction or bad reaction, depends on our consciousness. Okay, so if one doesn't abstain from the work, just okay, I'll not donate water now, let them struggle or whatever. I'll sit at home. I'll not do anything. I'll not interfere with anyone. Will I not accumulate any new karma? And Krishna is saying, even when you sit at home, you can accumulate karma. Our daily actions, eating, sleeping, everything, you can accumulate new karma. We'll see that in upcoming verses. Krishna is saying, even by sitting alone, sitting at home, watching TV, you can also accumulate new karma. You cannot be free from not doing anything. Or you cannot be free from any reaction to your actions. I'm eating food. Let's take an example, right? I'm eating food. Every day I'm eating food. Just by eating food, will it produce any karma? Or good karma or bad karma? Yes, it does produce good karma or bad karma. Right? So because of that karma, one has to take birth again. One has to take birth again. If one has good credits, he'll be given good facilities. If someone has bad credits, he'll be given no, not given any facilities. Right? So simply by sitting, not doing anything, also you'll be bound to karmic reactions, karma bandhana. Okay, so we'll analyze this as we go. And if one takes up the path of renunciation, okay, you are saying, if I sit at home, I'll get a karma. I'll go to forest, I'll meditate. And Krishna is saying, even if you do that, you'll not attain perfection. You'll not attain perfection. You still have to eat every day. You still have to go through the things every day. Even if you go to jungle, You have to take bath every day. You have to eat every day. And you have to do the things. You still have to do karma. And even if you abstain from doing the things, you cannot attain perfection even while doing renunciation. Hope it makes sense. Krishna is saying, no, two paths. Arjuna abstaining from work, Krishna is saying no. If Arjuna wants to renounce, Krishna is saying no. You have to work. Because work is natural. We work every day, right? We do our jobs every day. It's a natural thing. Krishna is saying, for you, this is better. So the Krishna is prescribing for you, Arjuna, the best path is to work, but work with proper consciousness, like a karma yogi. Purify your mind, purify your consciousness, detach, develop the sense of detachment and possessiveness. Right? That's the thing about when we work for the pleasure of the Lord, offer the results to the Lord, and not getting attached to the work itself. We are basically detaching ourselves, right? And detaching the possessiveness and false ego by doing such, by working with this consciousness. No need to artificially renounce and mentally speculate and understand the self. So that's what Krishna is saying. You work like a karma yogi. That is better for you, by which you can purify your mind. So life lesson here, do the prescribed duties with detachment and gradually make spiritual advancement. It's a baby steps, right? So look at this baby. So this baby is climbing slowly, right? This baby is climbing. This baby doesn't know walking, but this baby trying to learn walking and also climbing the steps. Right? So the path of spirituality or spiritual advancement, it's not an overnight thing. And one has to be really blessed to get that overnight self-realization. But Krishna is saying, you don't have to renounce and work on the self-realization. You continue whatever you're doing. If you're a householder, if you have wife, children, you can still possess everything. You can be with them, but work, change your consciousness. Don't change your work. Don't change your duty. It's like we change our job profile. Some manager to director, different job profiles, right? So Krishna is not saying, Krishna is saying, don't change your job profile, continue your job profile. Your job profile is to work, you work. Don't take up this path of renunciation. It is not good for you. There are struggles involved. So in case of Arjuna, if Arjuna goes to forest and meditates, what will happen? He cannot focus his mind. That's the first thing. And it is because he enjoyed a luxury life. He cannot even stay for a long time. He tried to fix his mind, but in his mind, he'll be constantly thinking about nice food, nice jewelry, nice dress, how he enjoyed his life. Right? So, and he eventually, because of his qualities like a kshatriya, like a leader, in the forest also, he tries to lead over people. He makes his own small kingdom in the forest. That's what he end up being. Right? So that's what Krishna is saying. No, don't do that. Why? So we'll go further. And following set of verses, Krishna talks about various reasons why Arjuna has to take up the path of karma yoga, not renunciation. Okay, in this verse 3.5, he says, inaction is unnatural. Nahi kashchit kshanamapi jatu tisthati karma krit karyate hi avashyaha karma sarva prakritir jair gunehi. Translation. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Krishna is saying here, everybody works, everybody acts every day. Let's take this example. A child, when she takes birth, comes to this world for the first time, This child, she starts crying, right? First thing she does is crying. That is also an action. Crying is also an action. That is also work. That is also an action. It's very natural. Right? This body functions naturally. Krishna is saying karma is natural. We eat food every day. That is also a karma. Karma has different meanings. Okay, it varies, depends on the context. So karma could mean or action, any work. Karma could mean action to a reaction. If I do something, I'll get a reaction. Or karma could mean a cycle of actions and reactions. Sanchita karma, pravada karma. So karma has different meanings, depends on the context, it varies. So that's the beauty of Sanskrit. You can put these terms anywhere, and the context, it varies based on the context. Okay. So any action we do, anything is a work. Eating is also work, sleeping is also work, right? So is there anyone who can't eat throughout his entire life? He'll die. Right? Is there anyone who can't sleep throughout his entire life? He'll also die. Right? So it is natural. Our body functioning is natural. So one might say, okay, I'll not eat, I'll not do anything, I'll sit on the couch. After some time, he'll get sleep. He sleeps. His body is not functioning, but externally he's not functioning. Externally he's not functioning, but internally he's also functioning. Right? His heart is beating. His heart is pumping blood throughout the body, right? And he's breathing oxygen in and carbon dioxide out. His body is functioning. That's what Krishna is saying. Everybody functions. This body functions. No one can refrain from action. Everybody has to function. Everybody has to act. Any action. Breathing is also an action. Breathing is also a karma. It's an action. Everything is an action. So Krishna is saying no one can refrain. If someone artificially thinks like, I'll renounce the work and I'll take up sannyasa, and Krishna is saying no, even if you go there and you still have to breathe. That is also an action. So Krishna also says one more thing, very important thing. Everyone acts based on this modes acquired from material nature. What is material nature? This material nature consists of sattva and rajoguna. We'll see this in the next slide. Okay. What Krishna said, everyone is helplessly forced to act based on these three modes: mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. In Sanskrit, it's sattva guna, passion is rajoguna, and ignorance is tamoguna. This entire creation, entire universe is manifested from these modes only, right? So there is a prakriti, material nature called prakriti, from which different modes come into picture. From these modes, different elements arrive, different elements like earth, water, fire, air, ether manifested. So various things manifested from this prakriti only. We can't see this. You know, if a patient has a disease, he goes to the doctor. Doctor cannot, maybe he can look at it, but if there is an internal disease, doctor has to do some diagnosis, right? No, touching the arm, touching the what's it called, hands, and various things, doing some X-rays, right? So he has to diagnose this. That way one can identify, right? Doctor can identify what kind of disease it is. He has to do MRI or X-ray, right? So that way doctor analyzes and understand the disease. So similarly, even doctor is not seeing that. Doctor is not physically seeing it, but he try to analyze by the symptoms. Right? Similarly, these things we cannot see. Mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, we cannot see it with our eyes, but we can analyze with our symptoms, with the symptoms. So what are the symptoms in the material nature, in this creation? Early morning time, like from 3 a.m. to around 10 a.m. or so, right? That the time is in the mode of goodness. The mode of goodness, right? Our mind is calm, or we are peaceful, we are nice. In the afternoon time, right? Around afternoon, like around 1:11 to 2 or so. So that is a time. Is what is the nature is in the early morning time we can go to beach, right? It's peaceful, serene atmosphere. But in the afternoon time, it's really hot, right? It's really hot. Temperature is really hot. But in the evening time, the temperature is again cooling down. It's in the dark, right? Sunset, darkness. We can see this mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance in the material nature also, right? The nature is calm and serene, and the nature is really hot, heavy, and the nature is like a darkness, right? It's in the darkness. It's going to a different state. So we can see these things in our nature. We are also a byproduct of this nature, right? So we are also influenced by this nature, mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. So what are the symptoms of a person who is in the mode of goodness? He's happy, he's satisfied, he's calm, clean, regulated, well organized, thoughtful, attentive, self-control, knowledgeable, compassionate person, smiley. He is always smiling person. But the person in the mode of rajas, extreme passion, is spontaneous. He acts instantaneously. He doesn't think. He's always flickering mind. He does multiple things at the same time. He's always confused. And his habits are extreme habits. He eats too spicy food, too salty food, too pungent food, right? And he works late, busy, stressful. His mind is always stressful. He's always disturbed. And he's proud, arrogant, greedy for things, always wanting to, okay, I have $10,000, I'll make $100,000, I'll make $1 million, always thinking about it, always restless. And the person in the mode of ignorance, tamas, is always lazy, sad, unclean, unregulated, disorganized, undisciplined. He's mad, he'll hurt others, himself, and he goes in the opposite direction. He's opposite to the mode of sattva, right? So these three things are seen in everybody. In everybody. We are forced to act by these three modes. I mean, we carry different impressions from different lifetimes. Maybe in some lifetime we are in the goodness, maybe in some lifetime we are in the rajas, mode of passion. And in this lifetime, also we could experience various symptoms of this. Everybody has this, right? Everybody has this. Mostly the people on the earth planet are rajas, are in the mode of passion. There is a heavenly planet and different planetary systems. Those people are in the mode of goodness. Right? And there is a spiritual world, which is not in this universe. There is a spiritual world. They are in the pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva. It is not even in this list. It's called Shuddha Sattva. Right? So it's a different mode altogether. So that's what Krishna is saying. Everyone is forced or pulled by these, helplessly pulled by these three modes. It because of our eating habits, living habits, various life. It doesn't mean we have to be like this forever. We can practice to transgress our modes. So one may be in mode of ignorance, one may be in the mode of passion. But by the process of, by following the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, by following the path of yoga, it could be Ashtanga Yoga, the meditation process is trying to control the mind and senses, and trying to Dhyana Yoga, right? Various yoga systems, or the path of Bhakti Yoga. Krishna says Bhakti Yoga is the easiest path. Yoginam api sarvesham mad bhakti antaratma. So the last verse in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says the path of Bhakti. devotion towards a God is the easiest path, is most recommended path. Krishna himself says, God himself says, this is the easiest path. So when one follows the path of Bhakti Yoga, the mind is purified, the consciousness is purified. One can elevate, even though one may be in the rajas, extreme rajas or extreme tamas, he can elevate. He can elevate to the mode of goodness. That is possible. And he can also transgress from this mode of goodness to the pure goodness. He can go to the spiritual world. So in the quick insight into the verses, Krishna is saying the soul is always active. Soul constantly works, right? Through this body. Soul constantly works through this body. Soul is always active. Even when we sleep, our mind is like, we don't think of anything, but when we get up from the bed, we know everything. What are the dreams we got? Right? So it appears like body is not functioning, but soul is functioning there. Soul can remember all those. So Krishna is saying, like, everybody is supposed to act. Soul is always active. Okay? And activity is based on the three modes: mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. We looked at those in detail. So I think it's already 7:32. So we'll take this life lesson and we'll stop here. Life lesson. So I'm continuously acting. Will these acts take me to the spiritual world or bring me back to the material world? That's a question to ask ourselves. Every day we are acting, every day we are eating food, sleeping, or are doing all kinds of actions. Are my actions helping me to liberate? Are my actions binding me to this material world, bringing me to various species of life? It is said that in Sanatana Dharma, the soul goes through various species of life. There are 8.4 million species of life. Human is just one species. Human body is just one species. And there's a species of monkeys. It's still one species, but different monkey varieties. There's a species of fish, there's a species of cat, a species of dog, right? So the soul goes through various transformations from one body to another body, and very rarely attains human body. It's very rarely attain human body. So human body is where highest intelligence, highest consciousness is given for a reason, for a purpose, to break the cycle of birth and death, to transmigrating from one body to another. So one can break this transmigration only in the human body. How? By just natural working. We work every day. So work with proper consciousness. That's what Krishna is saying in this set of verses here. You work. Don't refrain from work. Work with proper consciousness. Purify your mind. Take up the path of Bhakti Yoga. You can attain liberation. And you can break the cycle of birth and death. Okay, I think I took 4 more minutes. I'll stop here. If you have any questions, we can take now.